So you saw a little bit of my morning routine. Usually I just have coffee in the mornings. I don't eat for a couple hours right away when I wake up. And so, and the reason I do that, I do intermittent fasting, is just because if I wake up and I eat right away, then I'm really hungry when it gets to the end of my day, even though I spread my meals out, just being in a caloric deficit. And so waking up, I'm not hungry when I wake up anyway. Plus, there's so many like hormone benefits and stuff like that to keep your hormones high, insulin sensitivity high. So there's quite a few benefits of intermittent fasting. I don't really do it for a lot of those benefits, but I do the intermittent fasting just so I can keep my sanity because I'll feel full. There's some people that only eat like once or twice a day and they stay really fit. And so there's a lot more science behind it. I'm not really gonna explain it right now. Anyway, I just went for a walk, pre-workout for my warm-up. I went for like a mile walk, had my coffee, had another coffee, my pre-workout coffee, because I woke up and read emails, answered emails, trained clients, good stuff. And then something sweet with my coffee for my first meal. Sometimes I eat before I work out, sometimes I work out fasted, depends what I'm working. Today's legs, so I need energy for legs. So I had a 1 bar, those 1 bars. They're made by Oh Yeah. This one was peanut butter pie, really good. Something sweet to have with my coffee. It was delicious. So there's a couple bars that I'd recommend. Bars have came so far in the last couple of years. So the 1 bars from Oh Yeah, and then there's Fit Crunch bars. Those are really good. Combat bars, those are delicious. And then there's Quest bars. So there's a couple different kinds of bars there that you can buy that are really good. The Fit Crunch are probably one of my favorite. They're very macro dense, so just watch out there. They're like more like a meal. What I would think of as a meal, because 1, they kind of fill me up, and 2, they have a lot of macros in them. But the peanut butter one tastes like you took a Snickers bar and a Reese's bar and mixed it in one. So that's probably my favorite out of every one of them. But I'm trying out all of the different flavors of the 1 bars, so that's what I had today. And they're all pretty good so far. I think I've tried them all. But anyway, so good, especially something sweet to have with my coffee. It's about legs time. All right, so foam rolling. For me, it's pretty important on leg day. So I pretty much foam roll every day anyway. So it's like a deep tissue massage. It releases a lot of knots that you might have. Fascia, muscle fascia, creates more mobility. Not really creates more mobility, but when you're lifting, you're sore, you have a lack of mobility because you're sore and your body doesn't want to go through the full range of motion. And so foam rolling can definitely help with that. So for legs, I foam roll before every single leg session, and then I pretty much foam roll my legs almost every day because I run every day or do some type of sprints or cardio. Hit my legs every day, that's what I'm trying to say. So, bam, foam rolling. So when you're foam rolling your calves and your hamstrings, usually you're trying to press and lift your body up and it kind of strains you a little bit. You're moving around. So I don't really want to use my upper body and strain my upper body out, so I'm going to show you a really easy, really effective way to foam roll. So put your foam roller here, get it in place, grab some rings, just lift your body up, and then boom, right there, yep, just the perfect amount of pressure. If you need to, with this, you can actually hit it harder because you can throw a 45 on your lap or some type of plate on your lap. You can even do your calves. Get your calves done, like so. And you're just pulling, press, pull, press, and you just swing back and forth. And it's easier to hit your glutes too, because you can hit your glute like so, and then you're just rolling on it. Like right now I can't put a lot of pressure on it, but at the very end I will be able to. So this is a really good way to foam roll your hamstrings, calves, and glutes without trying to like lift your body up. I've even done this, like if my upper body's really sore and I have a hard time, you can throw a monster band on here, little rubber band. Show you what that looks like. You can throw one of those on there to kind of help lift yourself up. So that would be a band like one of these. Throw that on the rings, and then you can kind of lift yourself up a little bit. So then you don't have to use your arms so much. Or for, say, a client that can't lift themselves up, you can use that. But really, really beneficial for foam rolling. Definitely try it out. All right, guys, so here's some of the mobility or stretching I do. Mobility meaning that I'm mobile enough to get down into a squat. So this one I start with my feet close here, get into the like a squat type position with my hips, and then push back into it. And then I'll end up widening my feet out just a little bit, and then doing it again, widening my knees out, doing it again. I'll do this with my feet out, and then I'll get my toes into the ground, more like a squat. So if you have trouble with butt winking, if you don't know what that is, again, Google it. Look it up. It's when you go down into the bottom of a squat and your hips tuck underneath, and you don't know why. You might think it's because your back isn't strong enough or something, but usually it's because the tendons, ligaments, muscles in here and this that you'll be stretching during this stretch are not flexible enough. So this would definitely fix butt winking. And then also if you have knee pain on the inside of your knee, this will definitely help too. And I'm just pushing back, holding for 10 seconds. Actually, I'm bracing my core, pushing back, holding for a couple seconds, bracing my core, pushing back, holding for a couple seconds in a bunch of different positions, because usually I'll squat in different positions. I'll do like a plat squat with my feet really close, knees out, do a normal like hybrid squat, do sumo squats. It all depends, and I usually don't know what kind of squat I'm feeling like until I get in the position to where I throw the bar on my back or front or whatever and get into the squats. Also, if you do overhead squats or snatches and you feel like you're throwing the bar up and you're getting underneath the bar and you're having trouble at the bottom of the squat where the bar wants to fall forward, this is definitely going to be a stretch for you if you want to fix that, because you're getting down into the bottom of the squat, like say a squat snatch, which I'll go over in a later video. But a squat snatch, you're throwing the bar up, you're dropping underneath it, and then your hips like curl underneath your body, and it's going to round your back, and then your upper back is going to round, and the bar is just going to fall to the front. And it's going to appear that your upper back isn't getting tight enough, but really it's that your legs aren't flexible enough. All right, so this next stretch here for mobility is for your hip flexor, mainly your psoas. So if you want to Google images of that, look it up, see where the insertion points are. It pretty much goes from your femur and then goes up, meanders through your hips, and then connects on your lower back, like your bottom lumbar vertebrae. So with this, you want to get into a lunge position, pull your hips forward, and then so you're, how would you explain this? Pull your hips forward like you're doing kind of a crunch with your abs, and then push your hips in the forward direction, and you'll feel it stretch in the front of your hip there. Probably even all the way down your leg into your knee. And then with this lunge, it's kind of hip flexor, hips, glutes, side. So if you're lunging down and you notice that you're leaning off onto one leg a little bit more than the other, it could be because one of your sides, say your obliques, is tighter than the other, or your hip. So this stretch will definitely help you if you squat down and you seem to be squatting more on one leg than you are on the other. So check that out. And then, so for my squats here, I started off doing 135, then I did 185 and 205. So I did like 8 to 12 reps with those as a warm-up. And so on these squats, I'm barefoot, I'm focusing on staying on my heels and loading my glutes. I have a really bad habit of putting the whole load onto the quads, and I gotta stop that because that's gonna hurt eventually. And then getting down into the squat and pulling my knees out and up, so like towards the back of my armpits or the outsides of my shoulders or whatever you want to say. And then also keeping the back tight. So you'll notice when I get into the squat, when I start putting the barbell on my back, I am pushing my elbows back and up, and I'm tightening my back. So if you could think about doing a behind the neck pull-up, you want to tighten your lats and your upper back, because that's going to keep the thoracic part of your back nice and tight, the thoracic part of your spine nice and straight. So even people that are good at squatting will drop their elbows as they're coming down into the squat. And I don't personally think that's necessarily good, because it's relaxing all the muscles in the upper back, and you want your back nice and tight to protect everything, your core also. And so hopefully those tips help you. If you're good at squatting and you drop your elbows, personal preference. All right, so I'm going to go through lunges really quick with you guys. Now there's a couple different ways, really two different ways that I like to do lunges. One is to primarily hit my quad, and the other one is more glute hamstring. So I'm going to go over those real quick. Now if I'm going to take a really short step here, then I'm going to hit my quad, especially because my body is going to be stacked up this way. And then when I stand up, hitting the quad, right? Or even if I stand up pressing through both legs, I'm still going to be hitting that quad, because that's where my body is stacked on top of. Now, a lot of people think they just go with a wider stance, then they're going to hit the glute and ham. But then they end up going with that wider stance, and they end up doing this anyway. So their weight is still stacked in that same position. Whether it's here or here, it's still stacked forward in that same position. So to hit the glute and ham, you're going to want to take this knee and go back this way. So now my body is stacked back here over my glute and ham. So then when I press up through this way, I'm going to be hitting the glute and hamstring rather than up here with my quad. So you want to hit the quad, you go closer stance, right? And you stack your weight forward further. You want to hit the glute and ham, you come back here and make sure you're stacking your weight back to hit your glute and ham, or else you're just going to be hitting your quad again, even though you have a wider stance. So today, for my lunges, I'm going to be kind of going back and forth, but primarily I want to stay back here to hit my glute and ham a little bit more, than my quads because that's where my emphasis is. So I'm hitting squats first just to get my quads out of the way, but then I have these lunges to hit glute ham, more glute ham, yes, it's gonna hit the quad, but more glute ham, and then I'm gonna be going into stiff leg deadlifts, stiff leg deadlifts or Romanian deadlifts, depending if I set it down or not. I'm gonna be going into a glute bridge, a barbell glute bridge, and so that's gonna be glutes, hams, and then a sled pull. So it's still legs, but the emphasis is gonna, throughout the whole workout, is gonna be more glutes and hams. That's how I'm gonna do my lunges.
All right, so as you can see here, I'm keeping my weight stacked back. So I'm putting the pressure in my glutes and hams. Nice big steps. Also, I will be putting my workouts, I'm thinking about putting my workouts down in the description. So if anybody wants to try them out, they can see how many reps and sets I'm doing. So this won't be all of my workout stuff throughout the day or all my programming. It's just going to be what is in the video. So it's just going to be the lifts that are in the video is what you're going to get in the description. If you want all of my volume or program, then you can just message me. Or if you want coaching, so that would be nutrition, all of the volume that you need to grow, cut, whatever your goal is, you can contact me for that. So that's going to be down in the description. With these lunges also, you want to make sure that your hips aren't tilting side to side. You want to keep them parallel. So if you're going down and you get to the bottom of the lunge and one hip is way higher than the other, no good. Try and get your hips level. All right. Romanian deadlifts and stiff leg deadlifts. Did both of them today. So these are heavy, time under tension on the second one's the lighter one. So this one, not time under tension. I'm going down, setting it down, so each rep is individual. No time, well, not as much time under tension, not really time under tension at all. So I think I did 3 sets of 8 on these. You'll see in the description today. I'm going to try this thing out. Anyway, so these are really heavy, setting them down each time. I'm re-bracing my core every time because I'm trying to do them heavier. All right, and then I drop weight off, so I go from 225 on these to 135 on my stiff leg deadlifts, and I'm using time under tension on my stiff leg deadlifts. Now on these, when you come up to the top of the deadlift, you want to tuck your hips underneath, and then as you go down, you want to start rolling your hip back. And so your hips are going to roll back, so it keeps your back straight, but 2, you're going to get a nice stretch in your hamstrings. And then when you come up, rolling your hips forward is going to ensure that you get a nice contraction on your glutes and hamstrings. Also, you'll notice my shoulders are traveling over the bar, and I'm voluntarily pressing that bar back into my legs. So I want to keep the bar close to my body. And my hips are moving back and forth. They're going way back and way forward. So for an analogy, think about your hands being full, and you're full of like groceries or whatever, and you're trying to shut the car door with your hips, how your hips move backwards. That would be a good analogy. All right. Glute bridge or barbell glute press, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so on this, you want to make sure that, well, I'm making sure that the bench is at the bottom of my shoulder blades, and I am opening up when I go down and closing when I go up. So as I go up, my hips roll forward. As I go down, my hips roll back. If you have any questions on programming, coaching, or the workout, feel free to contact me.